call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we approve the agenda, there does have to be a couple changes. Tanya with Banner is presenting in the Black Hills at 7 o'clock their time. So we will be calling her soon to approve the Banner items that are in your packet.
Also, one other change I need to make to the agenda.
Okay?
I need to add a special maintenance fee resolution. It can be added in. Number 16. We can add it under the budget presentation.
Okay, what was it called?
It's a special maintenance fee.
Special maintenance fee.
Resolution number 2023-5.
And also, since Shelley Russ is here, before we get into some of this, we will call Tanya here shortly. So she will, item number 15 will go in right after number 3. And also, we will move Shelley Russ up to right after that. So she doesn't have to sit here. So is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Yeah. when we're ready.
Okay,
I
so,
will make a motion to approve the agenda, moving Banner Associates to number 3, moving the clubhouse discussion with Shelley Russ to number 4, and adding a bullet item to number 16 to discuss and approve the special maintenance fee resolution number 2023-5.
I'll second it.
okay, a motion has been made to add Banner number item 15 to right after this, and followed by number 8 moving up under that with Shelley Russ, and then adding the special maintenance fee to item number 16C. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, if you want to get out your Banner, you want to look at number 16, I will call Tanya, and it's to approve the applications for the sewer funds. Item number 15. Tanya, this is Darla, the Alcester Council. We put you on right away here, so do you want to just kind of explain things before we approve it?
Yes, I can go through things really quick.
Are you guys here?
Let me step out. There we go. That's a lot better. So, can you hear me okay?
Can you guys hear? Yeah. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So is the pay application on the agenda first? I gotta get, let's see here. I've got my agenda right here, so give me 1 second. Yes, the pay application is on the agenda first, and so that's in the amount of $244,190.82. And this is to the general contractor for his work for the last month.
Okay.
So he's been doing a good job communicating well, appears to be staying on schedule.
so that one was which one now, the amount?
That amount was $244,190.82.
Okay. All right. So we need a motion from her right now.
We would need a motion to approve that.
Okay, so at this time, do we have a motion to approve paying Banner $244,190.82?
All motion
It
to,
wouldn't be Banner, it would be IPT.
IPT,
Industrial-
okay.
yeah, Industrial Process
Goes
Technology
IPT.
Contractor.
all motion
Okay.
to approve pay application 5, $244,190.82 to IPT from the sewer fund.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion has been made. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, that one's been approved.
All right, the second one is a bill for Banner Associates, an invoice for $234, and this was to cover time spent on a request that was made for Banner to look into the sewerability of some property on the south end of town. And whether
Oh,
or not
okay.
it's feasible to sewer by sewer. And so that is an invoice for those couple hours to look into that and provide some information to the city attorney.
Right. Okay, so, did you hear that? Everyone hear that?
Yep.
Okay, so is there a motion to, and that's to Banner, correct?
That is the Banner, correct?
To pay Banner for their services, $234 to look at the west side of town, if it was feasible.
I'll make the motion to approve Banner Associates $234 for invoice number 40615 from sewer fund.
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. That it has been approved.
All right, the next item is Banner's invoice. So this would be payment to Banner for $11,975.02. And this would be for work related during the past month for the treatment plant improvements project to observe construction while it's occurring on the job site, and then also the administrative work kind of that's also required, discussing things with the contractor, reviewing equipment submittals, holding meetings, daily communication and emails, preparing change orders, things of that nature.
Okay, so that total amount was what then?
$11,975.02.
Okay. All right, so would we be up to date, or do we still have to go back to the June one? Are we all approved? That one was $28,392.12.
Yeah, and that's the one, so I don't believe that one was approved.
I don't think it was, because I've got it sitting here on my papers. That one was missed. So when we're done with this one, we'll do that one.
Okay,
Okay? So is there a motion to pay up this last month's to Banner, $11,975.02?
All motion to approve paying Banner Associates $11,975.02 for invoice number 40589 from the sewer fund.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So just to make sure we're covered, oh, okay. Just to make sure we're covered, we're going to go back to the June 24th Banner bill. And the total bill, let's see here, was, I don't know, on the front, is it the one on the very back? $28,392.12 it was. And that was for June, I believe.
and it was higher because there was quite a bit more work occurring with construction of the concrete tank that required
Right.
more on-site time for staff.
Because July you got paid, I know that. So we, for some reason, this one was not. So we need a motion to go back and pay Banner $28,392.12 for services through June.
Make sure you have an invoice on
I
that.
got it.
Okay, yeah, invoice 40179.
I'll make a motion to approve paying Banner Associates $28,392.12 for invoice number 40179 from the sewer fund.
We'll second it.
Okay, a motion has been made to pay the June bill of, oh, now I gotta find it, $28,392.12,
Yep.
and it's been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So I think we should be caught up.
Yeah, and then there's just one more item on the agenda.
Okay.
For this, and that is change order number 4 for the sewer project. And so this is a situation that occurred back, I believe, in June. There was trash encountered below the concrete pad for the generator, and they had to excavate down further, try and get beyond the trash, and then bring in some material to stabilize it. So this change order is for the extra material and the additional excavation that had to occur related to the construction of that generator pad.
Okay.
And so that, the change order is in the amount of $5,556.40. And so that would increase the contract price to $5,365,743.05. So it would be, the motion would be to approve the change order in the $5,556.40 amount to increase the project cost to that $5 million amount I just mentioned. If you need me to read it again, I can.
Yeah, yes, please read it again. I just need the amount.
Yep, so
For sure.
it would increase the contract price to $5,365,743.05.
It's a change order. So we need, we just need a motion to do that.
Yep, just a motion, correct.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 4 for contract increase of $5,556.40, bringing the total project cost of $5,365,743.05.
I'll second it.
A motion has been made and seconded for the change order to the sewer plant. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, I think we've got that.
All right, that should be everything. Thank you guys so much for bumping this up
And-
tonight. I really appreciate it.
And then next week is the sewer meeting on Thursday, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
all right. All righty, thank you, Tanya.
Yep, we'll see you then.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, at this time, Shelley, would you guys want to give us your presentation? Shelley and, I can't remember your son.
Alec.
Alec are interested in possibly leasing the old clubhouse. So they're just going to give us their plan tonight.
So I went through and measured everything up for the clubhouse that you guys have there. I'm sure everybody here knows what it looks like at this point. The changes that we want to make to it is pretty minimal. I mean, depending on how you guys want to do the lease and stuff like that. I have a 3D rendering. I can pass it around or however you guys want to do it. Basically, all we're showing is basically updating the siding on the outside so it would look like your clubhouse does already. Just boarding that in black trim. Once you get to the inside of it, what she wants to use it for, we basically gut all the walls except for one bathroom. So you start from scratch. We did change some of the window sizes to more storefronts to use for what she wants to use the building for. But as far as, I mean, I can get into more detail on what we want to do, I guess. It just depends on what you guys want to do as far as leases and stuff like that and how you guys want to do it.
we'd probably be more interested in, I mean, if it was up to the option to purchase, we would be, we would be able to agree to, if needed, to sell it back to the city at the time when it came back that, we no longer wanted to use it, or I'm too old to work, I guess.
Those years are coming.
But, yeah,
So you would prefer to buy it?
I think I would prefer to buy it, and do the work that I would want to it. And I guess it depends on what you guys are looking at to, for a lease amount. But,
Right.
yeah. I guess I think it's an asset to Alcester, to bring more businesses into a town that, like Alex said, we're 30 minutes from Sioux Falls, which,
Yeah, I mean, it takes me 30 minutes to get here from Harrisburg. It takes me longer to get to the north side of Sioux Falls than it does to get here. I mean, I do construction up in Sioux Falls. Alcester's within 30 minutes. It's almost more convenient to come to this town, live here, start businesses, than do it in Sioux Falls nowadays. Even Harrisburg, Brandon, I mean, Canton, same way. So,
So would that be an option, Austin?
So what specifically are you trying to do with the place?
basically renovate it, update it.
And sell things out of it essentially?
I have a business that I've had in Sioux Center for over 30 years. So I want to relocate that from there to here. I'm going to change it somewhat. Over there I do home decor and flowers. I'm eliminating the flowers, and I'm going to do more housework as in interior design. But it will have a storefront. So it's, I sell home decor, actually I sell paint, I sell a lot over there. But I'm downsizing quite a bit. If it were even be in the option, I would even like to purchase the building behind it. But I know Darla had said you guys are using it at the time. But obviously I want to fix it up and make it look better than what it does now. Definitely needs some work.
And you need to know an answer by,
Yes. Otherwise I'm gonna go to another plan. I mean,
right,
I'm leaving there at the end of December. So actually by the November, by the time I announce that I'm leaving, because it's not even known that I am leaving, I do want to announce where I'm going. So whether it's here or someplace else, I don't need to have my work done or anything like that. I just want to say
To know
where I'm
where.
going.
right.
I probably wouldn't start the work until,
First of the year, maybe say.
probably, because Alex says it takes a while to get stuff in and.
Yeah, that's the main thing is if she does do some of these changes, windows and stuff like that, they're not as readily available as they used to be.
Right.
So,
Well, could you give us 2-3 weeks? Right now, we're kind of in a lot of disarray, but.
Well, and I think with all of it, you probably don't want to fork out the money that it's gonna take to a building that you're not even, so like I said, I'm willing to, for a right price, purchase it, fix it up, use it, and I know one of your concerns was what will happen to it when I could leave it up to the option that I would try to sell back to the city before I sold it to somebody else. Or hopefully Alcester has grown by then and there's more businesses that become more,
Okay.
more in town.
What were you looking to purchase it for?
I don't even have I don't know, what do you,
You'd
when
have
we kind
to
of came up with our
price.
prices of what I'd have to spend on it, it was,
well, the siding alone on the thing, you're gonna look at probably around 30 grand or more. Windows again, another 20 grand to redo all those. To make the windows look like what she's looking for more storefronts, we're gonna have to open all of the headers up, make them bigger. So we're already gonna be spending up to 50 to 60 grand minimum. And looking through the building, it hasn't been updated in quite a while, so most of the electrical, plumbing,
We're not
none of that
sure.
meets city code anymore, or at least state codes.
Well, we couldn't even find them. What was
yeah,
it?
we couldn't even find the.
I couldn't even
panel.
find the electrical panel in the building. I could find the data stuff, but,
We couldn't find it.
so I'm assuming it's somewhere outside, but
So I guess I'm looking to take a building in Alcester to make it better, and, I mean, I would hope that it would be a benefit to the town to have, I mean, so far, I mean, we don't have a lot for businesses, but, you know, I've been getting more business in Sioux Falls, so, and actually in Sioux Center, I get a lot of business from Sioux City and Sioux Falls, so I'm hoping to get them into here, so.
If you look at her Facebook page, you see comments from everywhere. So I'll vouch for that, so.
You know,
She
probably
would
anyplace
like to
else.
keep it on Highway 11.
I kinda wanna say, I wanna keep it on Highway 11.
Yeah.
If I can. You know, right now, probably the building isn't worth a lot. So I guess I really can't say, you know, I know you had said when the golf course was moved, there was issues in there, but as a business of them, you know, bringing the town helps, you know, helps the golf course, or, you know, hopefully they stop and eat at the same time. So,
All right, well, we will discuss it, and I promise you in the next 2-3 weeks, we'll let you know.
okay.
Okay? Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah, Alec. What program is that rendering in?
SketchUp.
Oh, okay. Can you
I-
email that to me?
Yeah, do you have the program? Otherwise I can make actual
Can you make me
drawing.
an XDF?
I can make it into one.
Okay, well, because I have SolidWorks, I have Chief Architects.
Okay.
Any of those would work.
Okay. I'll send them over.
Okay.
Can you guys give me an email to send it to?
Yeah, I'll get it to you later.
Okay, so at this time, let's find my right agenda here. Do we have, we need to have a motion to approve the minutes from July 24th, July 31st, August 16th, and August 23rd, which were in your agendas. And they were also sent to us. So we just need a motion to approve those.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 24th, July 31st, August 16th, and August 21st, 2023 meetings.
I'll second it.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to approve the minutes from July 24th, July 31st, August 16th, and August 23rd. So no discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, at this time, if needed, we will have mayor interview. All right, we have one. So can we have a motion to go and enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 125-2 mayor candidate interview?
I'll make a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, parentheses 1, mayoral candidate interview.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now in executive session at 6:28. We are out of executive session at 6:40. Okay, at this time, I will make a motion to appoint Lucas Dreesen as the mayor until the next election.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Welcome back, Mayor.
Thank you.
So
Oath of
So,
office first.
okay,
Yep.
so.
Take that. Okay.
Lucas, you want to come and do the oath of office again? Okay, raise your right hand and believe. I, Lucas Dreesen,
I, Lucas Dreesen,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and the Constitution of the State of South Dakota,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor
in the city of Alcester
of the city of Alcester
until the next election.
until the next election.
So help you God.
Yep.
Yep, you can have it. I'll move on that trail.
Did you look at it?
All right, with that said, we'll move on to number 6, temporary finance officer interviews if needed. Do we have anyone tonight?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to SCCL 1-25-2, parentheses 1, temporary finance officer.
Second.
Sorry, guys.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We are in executive session at 6:43.
Are you, I can put one on the page, so.
Yeah.
And we are going to move on. We do not need, of course, we already took care of number 8. Number 9 is the public hearing, the Alcester Zoning Commission. We do not have all the information for that this evening.
Public input?
So, yeah, I did forget public input here, sorry about that. So I'll back up, we'll do number 7 here, public input. Do we have any public input?
I would like to say something. So, I handed you guys all a piece of paper, and I apologize not doing this during the PD session, but I have another meeting I have to attend. But I have handed in my resignation for full-time officer. I would just like to thank all of you guys for the opportunity to work here full-time. I know when I started in the beginning, it was a very rocky road. I had a lot to learn. I feel I have learned a lot while being here. And I would like to stay on part-time to be able to continue to help the community. I will be moving to Beersford PD full-time, and I will have several days off that I can be able to come and help you guys out. I know a lot of people are probably wondering why not just stay full-time if I still want to help. I need more time off with my family, and that is kind of the big thing. But with the days off, I'd still be able to be a part-timer that'd be able to pick up quite a few shifts and be able to help out around town. And I already know the town, and I know the policies and procedures of the department, so I would be able to help out in that way and not having to wonder, hey, what do I need to do? I wouldn't have to be trained. I'd be able to start working part-time tomorrow kind of thing.
Just out of curiosity, what hours are they gonna have you working over there?
It'll be 12-hour shifts, so it's a 2 and 5 schedule. So like this week, I would have Monday, Tuesday off, work Wednesday, Thursday, off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I would go back, I work Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it would just be a repeated schedule like that. So I would be available most weekends, every other weekend, and every other Thursday, for sure to be able to pick up shifts.
Well, first of all, Kyle, I want to thank you for your time helping out the city, and I do want to say that much for being on the full-time side.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you're here till the 19th?
18th is technically my last physical working day here. The 19th is my day off, so the 18th will be my last day working full-time. I would like to know if council would be willing to let me stay on part-time, so I can kind of get things figured out. I'd really appreciate it if I could stay on, to be able to help out the city.
Sounds good. We'll discuss it or whatever needed, and we will reach out to you and let you know, or we'll let Jared know and he'll reach out to you too.
Okay, thank you.
Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Any other public input?
Yes, I do. It has to do with putting a claim in on a bond. Finance officer had a bond, and to recover the 60-some thousand dollars for the lapse on the banner bid, that we could, I'm believing that we can bill that bond for that and recover that lost money that because of failure to operate. So it's something I wanted to bring to your attention, and so that you have, see if we can get access and bring that much money back into the coffers.
The insurance, she did show me that.
So.
Thank you, Vicki. Any other public input? I guess I have some public input myself. Of course, Lucas Dreesen here, the city knows me very well. Most people do anyhow. Been on the council for a few years. I was mayor for a few months there. I just want to express my feelings here. You know, I stepped away for 2 months. If somebody throughout the city thought they could take on this job, do this job better, that's great. They could have came and grabbed this seat. I've been an owner-operator in a business for 27 years, very successful. And no, I do not have no degree in the mayor position, but I have a lot of knowledge in running a business. I'm going to try my best, just like I was before, at this job. I will be here until the next election. If somebody feels they want the job, and someone comes and talks to any of you throughout the city, tell them to run for the mayor position. Because I have plenty of work myself, but I'm doing this because my heart is in the city. I went to school here, I grew up here, and I want the best for everyone throughout the city. We want to work as a team. We want all the aldermen to work as best as we can together. I know everybody needs to have their own disagreements on situations, and that's great, you know, on ideas. But as a team, we want this city to be successful. And if anybody wants to come in here and railroad into the aldermen and railroad myself, I'm not here, I don't need to be here for that kind of stuff. I'm here because we have a good city. I want it to be as best as we can, and I want the best for the community. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Any other public input? If not, we'll move on to number 10, Industrial Board. 10A is updates and discussion. Do we have anything on the Industrial Board?
Yes. The other day I was in the bank, and I have just never been quite aware of this myself. But Jamie Shemp called me in and just wanted to discuss things with me. And there again, I wasn't aware of some of this. But this building, when it was, the school owns that section. And it was divided into 3 plots, basically. And the school, I believe, also owns the corner over there with the garage. This part down through here is owned by the industrial board. The industrial board is a nonprofit organization. Its members are Gary McKellips, Tim Reed, Jamie Shemp, and Todd Nelson. And Pat was also on the board. When this was purchased, well, I don't think it's really purchased. I don't exactly know how it was given. But the only income coming in here is from the thrift store. The city does not pay rent, but we pay half of the utilities of the whole building. Once a year, they kind of figured it. I believe last year was around $1,200. We paid for the utilities, our part of it. They paid the other part. We take care of the mowing and the snow removal out here. And we've also paid the water bill and the cleaning of it. So he said, I'm not saying you haven't done anything, but they are losing money at this, in this, and there is gonna have to be a decision made in the future here about how we are gonna handle this. So if the city is gonna take over this whole section, which it's got some quirks, it's old. But I just wanted you to know that this, I wasn't aware of some of this, so that we're all on the same page and we're not like, oh wow. They were hoping to get a few more businesses in here and that didn't work so well. So it's just an update so you're aware and we gotta be thinking.
Carol, is there any reason, if it did come to that and they wanted to get rid of it or do whatever they want to do? We've got that big old community center, can we just meet up there?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Well,
I mean,
at
'cause
one
the city already
time,
owns that,
it
so,
was supposed to be in there.
well, that was my
But the
thought too.
problem is the city offices. What do we do with all this? That is a trouble. That's where we're, because the police now has their own, where before they did not. But we have all this stuff. That's part of the issue. I mean, granted, we probably don't need this big a room, but, so, I told him thank you, but I just want you guys to be aware, so.
Yeah, I think Pat did mention something to me at one point, that we don't, like, pay rent.
No.
But that in the future, we can't not look at that, because
I know that a past meeting, Pat did mention that she said wherever they take off the old school, or the old part of the school, that the industrial board would possibly give this part to the city, and then we would be responsible for the water, I believe, and sewer over towards Joanne's house, wherever it needed to be
Well,
located.
and Jamie even said, I'm not sure how it's even gonna, where the cost is gonna be to put in a new door, all that. It's something we're gonna have to really look at.
I think we have to look at all angles of it, does the city have the money to maintain this building?
Well, that's kind of where, and I'm exactly where Lucas is, like, by the time if they tear anything down over here, the input costs of construction and having contractors come in, reconfiguring all of, because I'm not sure what's all exactly, whether there's gonna be utility work has to be done.
He said it'd be that kitchen wall
Okay,
in the gym is where that's where it'd go across.
I'd have to go over there and see what all
Yeah.
is there, but I feel like if it came down to that, it would not be cheap
No,
for
it
us
wouldn't be, I'm
to
afraid.
take this over.
it's basically right after the music room.
Okay, yeah, I think at that point it'd be smartest to find another property that we have that we could use. I mean, we might have to make some changes as far as our layout. I mean, if we had to use somewhere in the community center, I mean, there's nothing here, as far as I know, that, I mean, there's no reason we have to have desktops. I mean, we can do stuff with laptops. You can get external screens with laptops. We can make things portable. I just feel like if it comes down to it with this, just because of the age of it and the amount of work it would take to get everything kind of up to snuff, I don't feel like that would be feasible.
I just wanted that out there so you knew. I was a little bit surprised, so.
We'll definitely keep thinking about it, discussing it, and ask people throughout the community too on their input, so. Any other discussion on number 10? If not, we'll move on to number 11, Community Center Golf Course updates with Landon. Of course, Landon is not here.
I haven't.
Okay.
He had asked last time, we have a 3-burner, 30-inch flat griddle and a table, which we paid $1,100 for at the community center. And also, I don't even know for sure what this is, but it's brand new, a salamander.
I see.
And he's not sure what we paid for it.
Those are expensive.
So they would like to put them, they're just sitting in the old clubhouse. He said we might as well get something out of them. He tried to call the entity in Canton where we bought this griddle, but no one has gotten back to him. But he would like do we have to declare it surplus? To declare it surplus?
It's highly likely gonna be the other one is gonna be over $500 highly likely, so yeah, it should be appraised and surplus.
Okay.
And put it on the auction site.
So one of those, Darla, was a 36-inch flat top, is that what you said?
Yeah, a 36-inch flat gas griddle with a 36-inch table that it sits on.
Okay.
And that table it sits on, I know is brand new, was brand new. So I know the griddle was purchased at Canton. But this salad, I think that's brand new.
That is brand new, because that was a thing where they were advised that they didn't need it, and then they bought it anyway, and it got put into, it just got put.
Yeah, it's never been used.
I don't know how that wound up getting purchased, because they were told early on that wasn't something, they didn't have room for it.
Yep.
So if that, any other discussion on that, otherwise we need a motion to have it surplus and appraised.
A motion to declare the griddle, salamander, and table as surplus property and advertise for sale.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. We'll move on to number 12. Police Department. Jared.
All right, so we'll start with monthly stats. More of the kind of same calls, a lot of animal calls. Now that school's in session, we're having some truancy issues. We're doing checks at the school every day. And then we're getting a lot more speeders coming on 302, especially after that fatal accident we had a few weeks ago. So right now that's kind of a point of emphasis for us, is slowing people down out there before they come into town. Any questions about the calls for service stats? Then, before we get on to the other parts, the big issue we are having, I've already talked to most of you, is with the sheriff and the county. They are called, sheriff called Darla and Cindy complaining. So if you guys want to share what he told you.
I was told that they would not come to help us unless it was very bad, like emergency, like our accident that just happened where somebody passed away, and they came. He wasn't pleased with the police not having on call. He wasn't pleased. He complained about a lot of stuff to me that was obvious that it came from people from town that didn't know what was going on. Because he was saying that they ride together all the time, which they do not. And when they do, it was because Kyle needed more training. So, but he told me they would not come here. So,
So the ongoing issue we've been having, we try to stress to them that we're only on call if there's like a major emergency. You know, like some of the chicken calls, they finally learned to hold until 8 a.m. when someone comes in. But the rest of the time it's, oh, we got a noise complaint, and okay, I'm in Sioux Falls. Well, we're not going to come up and deal with it. So then we're trying to deal with it on the phone. Or Sunday night, we had a disorderly conduct in the house, and the person wanted them arrested. They didn't want them in the house. They refused to send deputies, so I drove in from Sioux Falls, and by the time I got here, everyone was passed out, and no one wanted anything done. So, turn around and went home. So the issue I talked to both Austin and Sam, like kind of what our options are. If you want to.
I mean, and it's kind of what we talked about, their responsibility is to respond to felonious issues. You know, I think it's on the sheriff, though, to patrol the entire county. I don't buy this argument in my mind that, oh, you guys have a police force, it's your problem. No, you're still responsible for the entirety of the county. And this is just my feeling about it. I almost wonder if we go to the commission about it, because this isn't our first issue with the sheriff's office. I guess I'm displeased because I feel that it's kind of just a way for them to make some money from the city, because I think their ultimate goal is, hey, we'll come cover the city for you, but you're going to pay a fee to us. That's where my concern is. And I'm frustrated by it, because I don't think it's fair to the people that we hire, such as the chief, when, you know, he's having to respond to calls. He's up in Sioux Falls. We hired him under the presumption that, hey, we understand you're not supposed to be taking call, but they're sending all the calls to him. I'm to the point where, hey, if it's that serious, you go respond to it, and if you're having to call a person that's not on duty, tough luck. He's out of town, he's not available, we don't have a police officer available.
Because to kind of compromise and work with him, that's when we said it. If it's something major, we'll come in. You know, someone's, you know, I mean, someone found a dog and they tried to call us, and it would have been overtime for Kyle. Like, sorry, you're gonna have to wait until 8 a.m. the next day and we'll help. But it's just ongoing where they refuse to just call us for emergencies. It's every little thing. So that's part of the reason why Kyle's leaving. He doesn't have to deal with that in Beersford because they have like 7, 8 officers. So now, that's my concern is, the guy who was number 2 in our hiring process when I hired Kyle, he lives in Sioux Falls, works in Sioux Falls. He's heard about what Dan's doing, doesn't want to come down here. So I have to do a whole new hiring process, so it could take a bit. And if I'm the only one taking calls, and it's 24/7, it's gonna anger me and burn me out pretty quick. So we discussed possibly doing contract hours, but Sam was under the same opinion as the rest of us. We don't want to give him any more money. The other option is, when I'm on my days off, I just don't answer their calls. So that's when I checked into any liability we would have, and if it's something serious, they have to respond anyway per codified law. It's a felony.
I will say, even if it's not, I mean, yeah, a fire alarm is still serious. I mean, you gotta treat a fire alarm as if it was a real fire, even if it was a false alarm, okay? We had a fire alarm here a while back. I won't go into any whole lot of details. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. Office, deputy did show up. It was just a false alarm to a degree. But, the remark, I said, what are you doing here? How'd you get here so fast? Oh, I was in the area anyway. So they will respond if it's convenient for them. The severity of the call does definitely make a difference. But yeah, the little petty stuff that you don't want to deal with. But to a degree, we do have a state highway coming right on through town and a county highway on the edge of town. So I mean,
That's where I struggle is, you can't tell me the borders, the city limits, and then anything inside of that is the city's responsibility.
And it's certain deputies too.
Yep.
The guys who previously worked here will help us. Everyone else, they stay down in the dunes,
And they're being instructed to do so.
obviously.
Like a town like a Jefferson, do we know, and I should have looked into this beforehand, like a Jefferson, do they have a full-time police officer on call at all times?
So sometimes they're listed on our board on Zerker with an on-call. Sometimes there's no Jefferson guy listed, and they'll respond to calls in Jefferson.
The deputies will.
Yeah.
And that's where my frustration is, so.
well, I definitely think it's something that we're gonna have to discuss and try to figure out some options, I think we're working at it, sounds like, and we're gonna do our best to support you and help you out as best as we can.
Who would be our commissioner up here? I wonder.
I don't know.
Olsted?
Would it
Is
be
it
Bill
Olsted?
Houston?
I'm not sure.
Jeffers was, but I think he got put somewhere else.
I think it'd be Milt.
Because I've worked with Kevin Joffer,
Yeah, Kevin is.
because he's the federal firearm guy that we've been working with.
I mean, maybe he helped the fair a lot.
If I may speak, this isn't the first time this has happened. There was an event many years ago when Pete was mayor. 911, they wanted to charge us for 911. And a lot of the deputies and stuff were patrolling at that point. They were patrolling dunes, and dunes an unincorporated municipality. Now, they do have a private thing, but it still seems like the deputies are down there in the dunes a lot. And dunes would not have been charged that 911 charge. They're getting away with, I mean, they have to pay for their security, but that security team cannot act like our officers do.
The night watch, they just
Yeah.
call stuff in.
Yeah.
Potentially the city looks into this, seeing what kind of a fee they want, just to, at least see what it is, but I struggle with that notion.
We asked them the last time if they'd ever consider, and we'd pay them,
Yeah.
and they said, no, they didn't want anything to do with it.
They said we couldn't afford them.
Yeah,
Oh, they don't want to pay them on the dues, that's where their ticket revenue comes from.
Otherwise, there was, I don't know if it was ever like a serious plan, but Beersford merging Alcester into it. But I just know Shirk isn't a fan of having to show up to council meetings, so he wouldn't want to come over here.
I think we have to look at options, definitely can't say that's not an option, but, we definitely need the law enforcement. And, any 911 call, domestic, as EMS, or, it's been said before, we can't go in until law enforcement's there, so. If there's a domestic or something, somebody does need our EMS service, and they're laying inside, and we can't go in until the closest officer shows up. So,
Are they refusing to respond to situations such as that where medical intervention is necessary?
We haven't really had any kind of,
A situation such as that, okay.
it's just, I know, like, when I started, I told the council about that child abuse one I had to look into,
Yep.
where they called the deputy off. We didn't know if it was active or like a past tense And then the thing Sunday night where we didn't really know what was happening in the house, but they wanted this guy arrested. And both deputies, there was no call for service for them. And they were both still sitting down on the dunes, and they waited till I was knocking on the door to say, hey, should one of us come up there? Kind of late, you had an hour to come up from the dunes.
My mom hit her bracelet not real long ago, probably in July. And that day I was shocked because Kyle, Jeff, and 3 people responded to that. And that was just hitting her bracelet. And I thought that was kind of funny. I thought, why would they come to that?
Well, they've changed their shifts, so most of the time they have 2 deputies on. And then if Jeff Christie works like an overlapping shift, it seems. So when both the regular deputies are down south, he'll kind of float in the north, but
Yeah, I just thought that was in the middle of the morning. And I was like, why are you here?
so next on the business, surplusing Kyle's body armor so we can sell it to Beersford PD. We just bought it, the price was $1,431. So I think that's the price we should sell it.
What was it?
$1,431.
Any discussion on that? We're on 12B. If not, I need a motion to declare police utility vest surplus property and sell to Beersford for $1,431.
I'll make a motion to declare police utility vest surplus property and sell to Beersford for $1,431.
Second?
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Move on to 12C.
Jared, we appreciate everything.
All right, we'll move on to number 13, legal updates with Austin.
A majority of the stuff is gonna come to the meeting next week, as far as the fencing and, planning and zoning stuff. I really don't have too much beyond that. If anybody has anything, even questions about, a lot of the stuff will come to heat next week, so I'll defer until then.
Jeff Billingsness, I know he was in contact with some of the aldermen, I believe. He did reach out to me. We have a house on Iowa Street that has a roof on it with a brand new roof, and they have all the screws showing fasteners. City code is no, has to be hidden fasteners on a new roof. So between now and then, next meeting, we need to look at what options we would like to do if we're gonna, Jeff Fillingsness says he needs to remove the roof. Because if you start bending it for one, you're gonna have to start bending it for all. And people need it, when they come in for a building permit, they need to ask questions, they need to know where they stand. He should have checked into it, because I mean,
And he's told him to.
correct. And so the situation is, when we have people come to town and build a brand new house, and they order all their steel or their product for the house, and they get going on the house and say, oh, you can't put that type of roof on the house. And then he had to order, it cost him 3 times as much to put hidden fasteners on.
What is the purpose of that rule? Is it
He
just
said
aesthetic?
I think it's a county rule. It's a code, the way
I
I
don't know how
took
it
it.
stands.
Because he said it's in Beersford too.
I know it's in Beersford. I was never under the impression that was a county rule. I thought that was just, we don't like how it looks to have your fasteners showing. In which case, I think it's ridiculous. But, yeah, I just wondered where it came from and why it even exists. I mean, if it's a fire code issue or something like that, it would make a lot of sense. But if it's just, we decided we don't like the way that looks.
I haven't heard about this directly from Jeff. I had a call from Jeff yesterday, and I guess I never returned it out. I'm thinking about it. I'll call him and get the specifics on where he's digging it, because it might be underneath the maintenance code too. I don't know specifically. but I'll reach out to him. I would also mention, while we're talking about it, Mr. Clausen, Mr. Fillings has indicated there's been no real repair work done to the place whatsoever. And I know the council had given a deadline at the end of the year to make some progress, and I'll just note that there hasn't been any progress.
He said, he told me last week that he is probably gonna send a letter on October 12th. That
Does he live here?
Billings is?
No, Clausen.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
I've only seen him at one meeting, and I'd never seen him before.
yeah.
Those are the only two that I can think that Jeff's talked to me about.
Yeah, that's the only ones he said the other day too.
Well, what is this, Iowa Street over here, right? On the 100 block, middle block on the west side, that yard hasn't been mowed
I
or
noticed
touched.
that too.
And
Somebody lives there.
there's tree limbs and that, yeah, there's somebody, I assume probably just, I'm not sure if it's a rent or what they are, but they just don't do anything,
No,
nothing.
I've noticed that too.
I mean, I'd like to see somebody give a little attempt, try to straighten things up, if they could please look.
And I asked him the other day, I said, when you send them we talked about letting people know there is an ordinance here, you do need to keep, he said, that ordinance is on the letter they're sent. So he said, they know it, is what he told me, but I suppose they still gotta get a letter. He has to look at it and you tell him,
Well, he should double check on that one, to make sure a
Yeah.
letter was sent the first time, and if,
yep,
So I believe when we sent out letters the first time, it was Jeff, Pat, and us three. And I believe Pat had sent the letters out.
I sent them out.
You sent them?
I sent them.
You sent them though?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did
yep.
send them. Because I was working here, it was while they were gone.
Correct.
They left them for me to send.
So I never did get a chance to follow up with Pat if there was any follow-ups, if what was completed, not completed. You know, we kind of got to stay on it to a degree to keep the town clean and looking nice.
then I know there's this one on Broad Street, 300 block, 300 block or 200 block. But there's gravel out on the street that's been there all year, a pile of gravel, and there's even weeds growing on top of it. Now, why is that even sitting on the street that long?
Oh, is it where the car, and there's a car there too?
I think so.
Because the car hasn't moved.
Haters?
He did get a letter. I don't think he corresponded to anything that we had on the letter. So it's just a matter of, to a degree, we're gonna have to say, we're gonna have to have a stipulation saying if you don't, correspond with our letter, this is what the city is gonna have to do, and you're gonna have to pay for it. But I suppose we're gonna have to give them a couple notices and say, this is what you're up against.
We can just give them a notice of the deadline and say,
Yep.
hey, if you don't correct this in 10 days, the city's gonna take action and assess expenses against you.
If I may have permission to speak. The city had adopted 2012 International Property Maintenance. And that, if you look that up, you can probably find it because it lays it out.
Yeah, I looked it up and it's in there.
Yeah. The other question I had doesn't relate to this, but you were doing an update. What is the status of the lawsuit that FCS has against the city?
Still, you're specifically talking about the quiet title action? I still don't have a judgment in the case. We're close to having a resolution, nothing yet though.
Okay, because that included roads. Roads also, Teresa and, I just went brain dead. Tristram, yeah. Because it named both them and the city of Alcester. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on number 13?
Oh, and the other thing he did say that day was, he had talked to Pat a while ago about, we do need to put something with our building permits, that somehow we gotta get it in our ordinances, that when somebody comes in for a building permit, that it's looked at.
Correct, we discussed this. So the way the current building permit section reads is that somebody can begin work and then essentially get a retroactive approval without plans being submitted to the city and being approved by the city. Or essentially having anybody that looks at it. I think the retroactive part needs to be replaced, and instead, somebody has to look at the plans and approve them before city gives the okay to go ahead with it.
Yeah.
I think it at least eliminates some of the issues of, hey, somebody comes in and does something faulty, and then we look at it and be like, oh, this is wrong on the building permit, and they've already started work on it, so.
Who would we have to do
It would just have to be written up in a new
Yeah.
ordinance, and then it has to be read twice.
that? Right, no, I mean, who would approve the,
Person
who would approve the
who would
drawings?
Uh,
Like, is that something we have to have a PE approve, or?
It would just be, you would authorize an official to do a resolution to allow them.
I think it would be similar to like if somebody wanted a variance.
Yes.
They'd bring it in and say, this is what we're doing, we're X amount of feet from the property line, and then we're gonna say, well, yeah, we'll allow it or not. You know, I
Okay.
think that's what,
So we're not getting into as far as, oh, here's a drawing, this, okay.
No, that's a little beyond the scope, but, I mean, I've seen
Like
some.
when we did the elevator down here, you guys told us, don't give any building permit until we know all the variances were in place.
Correct. It allows the city to at least have some control over the situation, because if the building permit just gets accepted, then we potentially lose all of our ability to kind of control.
Right, understand. I have a question along those lines too. If you are not adding any area to a building, say you're shingling your roof, do you need a building permit just to put shingles on?
My position, and I'd have to look
I
up
think
for
it's
sure.
dollar,
So,
isn't it,
Is that what it is?
amount?
yeah, no, there are specific
There
provisions.
is?
I think you do
Okay.
have to get a building permit.
Really?
Pat did require it when she was.
Just
Because you're
shingle?
changing the structure.
Correct.
You're not adding to the structure, but you're changing the structure.
You know, somebody could be having asphalt shingles, be putting steel shingles
Sure,
on, you know.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure, people will ask me, I'm like,
Good question, though.
No, I have nothing else.
Okay. Any other discussion on 13? If not, we'll move on to number 14, camera quotes tabled from 7/6/2023 meeting.
Yeah. Can you just push it, unless anybody else is to do
eh,
it? If it needs to get brought up sooner than that, I can.
So this will be tabled till the January meeting. All right, number 15, we already took care of, so number 16, finance office updates. Does anyone have the updates?
I can do the budget stuff, but do you have one for, like that?
Right. We do need, for him, we need to make a motion. I've been working with the bank, and this is where we have to have things in our minutes for the bank. So we're gonna need a motion to approve Lucas to sign all, let's see how,
Just
to authorize him to sign things at Premier Bank. But we'll have to wait with Abigail until, but we will have to have that where she's done, well, we'll have to dismiss her from there. It has to be a motion, has to be publicized. So we need a motion just to add Lucas back.
So make a motion to approve adding Lucas Dreesen to all Premier Bank authorizations.
Yep. I'll second it.
Any other discussion on that? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to 16C, 2023 budget presentation.
So, does anybody have any questions about it? So this will just be the first reading. I sent everything out to you guys. Do you mind if I take 1 minute to print it? Because I think Abigail threw it away in my papers that were stuck.
No, go right ahead.
Because I don't see it anymore.
Is it okay if I go right? Do it. We do need to give kudos to her because she has spent hours on this budget, probably 40 hours at least. So trying to get it all figured out.
I think, what are we gonna do with that camper that's been sitting in the park all summer?
She's moving.
She is going to move it?
She resigned from her job yesterday. So I think it'll be
Where's that at?
in the park.
Oh, yeah. She
I
was,
just know that because I went to that job this morning and they said she was no longer.
was she paying to stay there though?
Yep.
Okay.
I asked that here and they said they were receiving it.
Well, she was living right next to me and she got kicked out of there.
Yeah.
I think in the future, we have to be careful if somebody's going to live in there ongoing for days. Those are temporary sites.
Yep.
And there were people that were wanting to come to town to see family, and she was there, and then there was that other fellow that was there for a number of days, and they tied up our two
And that guy, I
campsites.
think he comes down every so often and stays for a while at the other guy, if I remember right.
I have no clue. We have to keep that in mind.
They're not long-term.
I mean, that's where I've had the ideas, we need to add additional campsites moving up to the east, you know, and
There's plenty of room. Me too.
Oh, wait.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
One of those days today.
She told me last week, she said that would be all right.
When's your last day?
6.
We have somebody getting the water bills up.
Not yet. I didn't even know where they read.
I don't know.
She was gonna do it this week, because that's what the notice said. Oh, read them this week? She said the water, that's what the one email said, but it would be this week. Next week. And no one would be charged a late fee.
I'm not gonna pay mine anyway.
You just want to do that late fee.
Yeah, I just added it to my bill.
I don't know what to put mine in.
I apologize.
You worry too much.
What?
You worry too much.
I worry too much. I don't like to be overheard. Okay, So basically, I will email it to you so you have a copy. I tried to get rid of as much fluff as I could possibly get rid of for this budget year because I didn't know what to expect going into it and where we stood. We do have a higher percent for our growth this year, which is great. Last year is 5%, this year is 7.5, which is a pretty big bump for the city, which is good to see. That growth was up quite a bit. So that did help bring in some more money. I calculated our whole budget based off of the real numbers pulled from QuickBooks and the actual expenses and cost of last year. I did not base it off of last year's budget in every sense because to me the numbers did not equate to where I thought they should have. So if you look at it really closely compared to last year, which I know nobody probably would because it's a lot of numbers to look at, but it does not look as neat as last year's was presented because I did use to the cent dollar amounts. So if you see any differences in that, that would be it. Our total general government is $222,000. Public safety is $198,000, which is all on the last page, so I'll give it to you. You guys all have it for the appropriation ordinance. It's the very last page of the budget, and it is basically the total summary page of everything. So you have the total government funds, and then you have proprietary and fiduciary funds. Basically what it leaves us at is a $148,000 is coming from our savings account, for lack of better words. It is actually a checking account, but it would be what the city has kind of left over at the end of everything. So that is where that unassigned fund balance comes from. Once you categorize all of the different categories, what comes up in the red, you then have to take from somewhere, and that is what we're looking at, 148,000. You want that number to be as close to zero as possible, and so this is a pretty large amount, and I could not find anywhere to take it from to get that number lower. I guess, do you guys have any questions after looking over it as to why anything is the way it is? The wages are also updated with that 6% increase, so that would all start January. The wage Excel spreadsheet is all there, so if anybody has any questions as to what the difference is from last year to this year, that is all there with actual rates, so you can see. And the column to the right will just show the difference. It starts with an at a glance, so it just shows you for the month of June and then year to date from January to June of this year. So you can see, so basically water is good, sewer is negative just with the equipment and purchases and the deposits that have happened. We just hadn't at that time gotten one of the checks back from the CDBG grant, so that is where that kind of came from. Golf in June was still profiting, or not profiting, sorry, was in the red, but that also didn't have any golf funds in it yet, so all membership fees and whatnot had not been put in at that time. It is actually quite a bit lower than that once a lot of that was in. It will still be a tough year. We'll really have to focus on the community center this fall into the winter to regain that, so making sure we're coming out a bit more even. I know last year that was a big point of contention, and I do truly think with where we're sitting right now that it has the potential to get pretty close to even, so it isn't in the red. I don't know how much this year, with how much we came back from last year, it's really going to, look like the numbers bounced up that much, but I do think if we stay steady on it and really watch where we're spending, it does have the potential to do that, based on the numbers I've looked at. The rest of the next couple of pages are just bond repayments that the city has for different things, community wastewater, a couple pieces of equipment that we purchased, our HRC interest-only bond, and then it just goes into the general profit and loss, which is pulled from each department, so it breaks it down a little bit more in depth to show our current and then projected for 2024. All the department budgets are there. I sent them out to the people who are in charge of them, and I received no comment back, so either they didn't want to admit they don't know what they're looking at, or they didn't have any justification as to why my numbers were incorrect. Our revolving loan fund, we will have a couple accounts close out of this year, so that will be nice. That money will be there. It doesn't look like we've provided any as of late, so I guess that's up to the council if we'd like to give any more revolving loans out to the community. The 5-year comparison is for our general fund, again, just breaking it down into departments. I tried to change as little as possible any regular expenses, so anything that we were spending on last year, that made sense. And we're still giving the same amount of grants to the fire and ambulance, like all those things that we give are very similar. I started with the salaries and increased those and kind of went from there. Things in the 5-year plan that I thought could wait, so it's wish lists that each department gives every year. Went through and asked if I had any questions of what was pertinent or not. I asked each department like what was absolutely necessary this year, what could possibly be pushed off, and made changes based on that. And that is it, based off of I started with the end, so any other questions on that?
The bottom line is we have to be tight.
Yes. I mean, I would prefer to operate, like I said, you weren't at a previous meeting, I don't think you were here. As a city council, I feel like previously this was acted as it was monopoly money, and things were just handed out a lot quicker than really looking into where the money was coming from or what it was actually delegated for, and how we were going to make that up. And so I would never have known any of it if I didn't have to dive into the budget as much as I did. And I did not completely understand where all the money came from, and there might still be things that I'm missing, not missing in the budget, but missing for where people applied for things that we could continue to do so, and those types of things. I do think, like Jared mentioned, applying for as many grants as possible is really how each department should look at it. If they want something, instead of just asking for it, figure out how they can do it themselves without using the city's money as much as possible. I think that's where they will get more of what they want, instead of the city trying to figure out where we can recuperate that money from. So I think going forward, if as a city council and each within their respective budgets can look at it as it is money and it does come from us. We live in the town and what we're paying is what we get. So if we don't want our taxes to go up, then we have to live within the means of what we're paying for our taxes, because that's where the city's money is coming from. So I will get off that soapbox, but if there's no other questions for the budget, this will count for our first reading, and it'll be
If
read
I
again.
may have permission to speak again. I had one question. I noticed that the community center and the golf course are put together.
Correct.
We probably should separate those so we have a better idea. Is the community center providing for its own, and is the golf course providing for its own? I think maybe those two should be split up.
I do understand that, and I know that's been a concern previously of several community members. I also think some of the previous council members have stated that as well. I do not have the education and the knowledge to separate it in QuickBooks. I do think that it should be looked at going forward, and potentially with the new system, I think that would be a good starting point.
Okay.
With somebody who has a little bit more knowledge of it. It had been started, you can see where it separates, but nothing was ever, the cost breakdown was not actually divided, because it would take somebody not a lot of time, but a dedicated amount of time to actually go in and break those up and then go into the budget. I'm assuming what the thought was is when this budget was going to be created to do so. I did not create it based on that. Not saying it can't be done within this budget year. I just think I did not have the knowledge to do that, and I don't want to mess that up. So I went with what it was, and then it can be looked into going forward. And I'm hoping it'll be much easier to do that now that I have a better understanding of how the legislative department breaks those categories up. I do think it can be done a little bit easier. And where the money comes from to fund that, now that I understand that a little better, I think it will provide a clearer picture going forward.
I would like to thank you very, very much
Yes.
for the time and the sorting that you did. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I really enjoyed learning as much as I did. I think there's a lot to be learned in there, and I think a lot of clarity could come from somebody learning it. It just takes a little bit more time I had than the month I had. But yes, no, everything I think going forward will be fine for this upcoming year, as long as we stay within that as tight as possible budget.
I know.
What did you do for phase 2? Anything?
For the CDBG, like everything for that. I did not, so we did approve to have it looked at.
Get new projected cost.
Correct.
Yeah.
So last meeting,
Just last
we
meeting,
approved for them to go ahead and look into that. We approved.
because there's a new funding available.
Correct. So we had to have it done the last meeting for them to go ahead and relook at everything, and we did approve, I think it's 8,200.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that number, to have that all redone, and then the grant can be filled out, and if I remember correctly, it needs to be done by mid-October.
Yeah, that's why we have to make the decision.
So that will have to be done very soon as well.
I've been told that out there at the clubhouse that our fees that we charge for people to play up there is about the cheapest around. And I think next year we're probably gonna have to look at raising those fees. Because, I mean, it's nice maybe to be the cheapest, but do we have to be the actual cheapest?
I know, and that's something I feel like very minuscule on like the whole scheme of things.
Oh, I
Because
agree.
the golf course is never gonna really make enough money to offset any cost of anything. I do think you're correct in saying that we could probably reevaluate and see what that looks like. But it's never going to, at least, I mean, in any realistic expectation, it's not gonna cover, I mean, per year, the cost that we put towards golf carts even, it's really,
And that's one thing we'll have to look at too. Do we want, I know we purchased, what, 2 carts this year?
so this budget will approve for 3, because typically we purchase 2 and then trade in 1. But with we just actually need another one, so instead of trading that one in, we would.
And I don't know
have
what it
the-
costs to possibly lease, because I guess there was a lot of days, a lot of people got turned away.
Yeah, they had to
because it was-
walk. Yeah.
Correct, so this will hopefully mitigate a little bit of that congestion by adding 3 more and not getting rid of any. Not that it is going to completely outweigh some of those really high number days, but I do think it'll help quite a bit.
Any other discussion? Thank you, Kendra. We'll move on.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, sorry, we'll have to, a motion to
Yeah.
approve that, and then I
Yep.
have one more.
Yep. So I'll need a motion to approve the first reading of City of Alcester 2023 appropriation ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve first reading of City of Alcester 2023 appropriation ordinance.
I'll second it.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Only have one more, right?
Yes, the next thing, you guys actually should have a copy, I placed it in front of you guys. It might be at the bottom because I printed them myself one night at like midnight, so. It is the special maintenance fee resolution number 2023-05. This is and has been done multiple years in the past. The city, it is a tax levy, so we take the amount that we get from taxes and we assess a dollar per front footage for everybody's property, and we add that. I will then write up a letter and request that tax levy from the county. It has to go through city council's approval to do so because we are assessing the extra fee to members of the community.
Don't we have a fund already for our streets?
So it's done by year. So we,
Oh,
you guys,
okay,
or
okay.
the city council approved it last year, and those funds will be taken from this year.
Okay,
So this
okay.
would be the approving it to be assessed for next year.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
There is a resolution spreadsheet. I didn't print it out for you guys, but all it is listing every single property and what that frontage footage is. And there are some that are exempt from that assessment. And it's all listed. It is sent to Jackie at the county, and she will either grant it or I don't see anything saying she's ever denied it, but it does have to go through city council's approval. Do you guys feel that that would be an appropriate thing per our budget? I would highly recommend it, but I cannot say otherwise.
We've done it every year I've been on council, just because everything is getting so expensive. Streetwise.
Give me 1 second, I want to make sure the caption's right on it.
Okay.
I'm looking at the only one that I have in our files is from 2021. And it says, of course, I have no service down here.
I can try and find it.
I just want to make sure it's supposed to be 2022, not 2020. Yeah, looks like I have it right here.
2022 for what, I'm sorry.
On the caption where it says a resolution of the city.
The number.
I very well could have not changed anything. I can change it.
So the last one I have on our record was in 2021, and it says a maintenance fee in 2022. So my thought is that.
Yeah, I should have changed it to 2023.
Correct.
Okay, I can change that.
I think we can just manually change that. Approve the resolution with that amendment.
And I can also change it, I'll add this one as this one.
So,
Oh, and on the back, the date's right.
It will be, today is the 12th and then 19th.
so you want to change it first before we make a motion on it?
The
We can-
resolution number will still be the
The
same.
resolution's
so-
gonna be the
Just the
same,
date and.
just with the correction
Yep.
of maintenance fee in 2023. So we can. still
And the
approve
date
this.
with it on the back of it.
Correct.
So I'll just make a motion with the changes.
Yep.
So. All will need a motion on that, if you understand exactly what needs to be done. I don't have the exact paper in front of me, so I can't read it for you, but.
Okay, so I'll make a, so do I need to make the motion for the special maintenance fee resolution number 2023-05, a resolution of the city of Alcester to levy an annual special maintenance fee in 2023 for the maintenance of street surfaces within the city pursuant to SDCL 9-43-138.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion on it? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to number 16D. I got so much writing on my paper, so.
Just a reminder, let the next
Yep.
council meeting.
So the reminder, city council meeting, September 19th, 2023 at 6 PM. If nobody else has any reminders, we'll move on to number 17, executive session if needed. So if not, we'll move on to number 18, need a motion to adjourn the council.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We adjourned at 8:21 PM.